What if the boy destined to be the king of the pirates had instead chosen a life of justice? Luffy is synonymous with freedom and piracy, but his grandfather, Garp, had a different vision for him, a career as a marine. While the image of Luffy chasing after bounties rather than criminals is almost inconceivable, let's explore the uncharted waters of a One Piece where Luffy dons a navy uniform instead of a straw hat. So, if Luffy wasn't a pirate, Garp's influence would have definitely been strong. But remember, by the time Garp started pushing Luffy towards the Marines, Luffy had already eaten the Gomu Gomu no Mi. This means, even in this alternate reality, Luffy still has the power of the 𝐿𝐞𝐽 fruit. Now, we know Zoan-type devil fruits have a will of their own, and usually, the 𝐿𝐞𝐽 fruit wouldn't end up with a future Marine. But hey, if Luffy sticks to his core beliefs, it could work out. Imagine Luffy eating his devil fruit and Garp convincing him to join the Marines. Luffy would still be all about freedom, just in a different uniform. As 𝐿𝐞𝐽, Luffy stands for freedom for everyone, not just himself. So, he'd be going from place to place, saving people and liberating countries. Sounds like a pretty awesome Marine, right? Garp is like a wild card in the Navy. He doesn't follow the usual rules, and the top brass let him do his thing because he's super strong. If Luffy reached a similar strength, he'd also get away with bending the rules. Luffy would become a powerful Marine, probably reaching high ranks. But like Garp, he'd likely reject becoming an admiral because he wouldn't want to be under the Celestial Dragons. Luffy would probably stop at Vice Admiral, giving him enough freedom to do what he wants without being controlled by the Celestial Dragons. But even as a Vice Admiral, there'd still be some restrictions, and Luffy wouldn't be a fan of that. This is where things get interesting. Garp has some pretty radical ideas compared to other Marines, but he never acted on them. Instead, he's raising the next generation to bring in a new age. If Luffy led this new age, Garp would trust him to change the Navy for the better. Luffy wouldn't see pirates as bad and Marines as good. He'd judge people by their actions, not their titles. Luffy wouldn't see things in black and white. A pirate crew saving people, good in his eyes. Corrupt Marines, he'd take them down without hesitation. Luffy's all about liberating people from their miseries, whether they're pirates or not. To truly change the Marines, Luffy would have to shake things up from the inside. Imagine him leading a coup against the Celestial Dragons and corrupt Marines. He'd gather a team, similar to the Straw Hat Pirates, and work against the organization to bring about a better future. Luffy would aim to overthrow the most corrupt people in One Piece, like the Five Elders and Imu. He'd want to re-establish what it means to be a Marine, leading a powerful revolution, and when the time is right, he'd be joined by all his allies to take down the world government. Luffy wouldn't want any credit for it. He'd make sure the Marines, as we know them, would be dissolved. A new world order would be set up, one where everyone in the organization could follow their own moral compass. At the end of it all, Luffy would likely retire from being a Marine. He'd want to explore the seas, going from island to island, doing what he does best, saving people. Even as a Marine, Luffy's spirit as 𝐿𝐞𝐽 would live on, working from inside the Navy to dismantle it when the time is right. So there you have it. If Luffy became a Marine, he'd still be the freedom-loving hero we know and love, just in a different way. What do you guys think? Could you see Luffy leading a Marine revolution? Let me know in the comments below.